Throughout the morning, we'll be previewing coming attractions for this new season, including some notable exhibitions at museums across the country. But to begin, David Pogue takes us to an exhibit guaranteed to take you back.
Nestled in the rolling hills of rural Massachusetts, swathed by manicured grounds, sits the Norman Rockwell Museum. And here, side by side with the wholesome works of America's most beloved illustrator, is the world's dumbest cover boy, Alfred E. Neuman.
It's sacrilegious. It's an outrage. But I do think if Norman Rockwell were here, he'd laugh his head off. He'd think this is fantastic.
That's right. These hallowed halls are now home to the world's largest exhibit of artwork from Mad magazine, co-curated by political cartoonist Steve Brodner.
I was formed by Mad. My idea of comedy, humor, irreverent drawing comes from this.
Mad began in 1952 as a comic book that made fun of other comic books. But if you came of age during Mad's peak, the 60s, 70s, and 80s, you know what it became. A hilarious guide to the hypocrisy of the authority figures in your life. And Mad kept saying, but they're all idiots.
I know. Isn't that marvelous?
Mad made fun of dumb ads, of dumb politicians, of dumb trends, and of course, dumb movies.
They're making fun of the government. They're making fun of IBM.
And hence, that's why parents are really
because
not too pleased.
The authority of parents and teachers were also being mocked.
Yes.
John Ficarra was the editor of Mad for 33 years. Writer Dick DiBartolo was around even longer.
I have been in every issue for about 55 years.
Every issue?
Yeah, and I got paid for about half of it.
At this very desk, he wrote hundreds of movie parodies, including The Da Vinci Coma, Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Out, and Try-Panic. I remember as one of those readers not understanding all the jokes. Sometimes you were making fun of stuff that were over my head.
Well, that was sort of the charm. And we figured either kids will get it or they won't, and they'll look it up and find out. Or 5 years later, they're looking at old man thinking, oh, now I get that joke.
Mad's artists and writers called themselves the usual gang of idiots. And when they said usual, they meant it. They tended to work for Mad for decades, including Al Jaffe, whose art appeared in every issue but one for 65 years. He died last year at 102.
People have been doing satire one way or another throughout the ages. The only difference is most of them wound up in dungeons, and we wind up on the newsstand.
Al Jaffe is one of the geniuses of Mad. He concocted the back page of Mad, the interior back page, which turned into a fold-in.
And the caption says, more and more of today's young people are having basic job problems. Many of them must pick highly practical ways to live on a low income. And when we fold it,
boom,
moving back home. But one Mad artist gets a whole museum room, Mort Drucker, who died in 2020.
Everything is experimentation, and that's the fun of it all, once you get a handle on what a good artist is supposed to be and do.
This was Mort Drucker's parody of The Godfather. Marlon Brando as Vito Corleone, Robert Duvall, and Pacino. Now you'll notice he wasn't happy with the head.
Oh, is that why this has been redone?
Yes, it's what we called a paste up.
He really loved people, and I think that's why he was such a successful caricaturist, because he inhaled the persona of somebody and wanted them to be realized in the best way possible.
Mort Drucker's daughter, Lori Drucker Bachner. Here's what I find crazy. He didn't have professional training?
No, well, he did go to Parsons for 3 months, and they told him he really was not cut up to be an artist.
Wait, excuse me, what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was pretty devastated, because he always thought of himself as an artist.
Drucker went on to draw for Mad for over 50 years. At its peak in 1974, Mad sold 2.1 million copies. It was wildly profitable, Even though Bill Gaines, its publisher from Mad's founding until his death in 1992, refused to accept advertising.
This is just the thing with me. I've always been against ads. It's a good thing to publish if you can without any outside help so you're not beholden to anybody.
But eventually, readership began to decline. People have all kinds of theories as to why. Magazines began dying off. The usual gang of idiots began dying off. The internet happened. And then there was the ownership problem.
Bill sold it to a guy who owned another magazine that was losing money. They sold it to, I think, a holding company. We became part of Warner Publishing. And then, just as I was leaving, AT&T bought the company, really screwed it up. Please don't cut that out. And sold it again now to Discovery.
For a very brief time, I think it was just a month, it was Smucker's Jams and Jellies. We thought, how did we get there?
Mad's last regular issue came out in April 2018. The Mad exhibition runs through the end of October, but the Mad influence still runs strong.
The Simpsons have been very generous in saying how much Mad influenced them, and certainly Weird Al.
Stephen Colbert and Jon Stewart.
Do you think there would have been SNL or any of the stand-ups?
Mad actually created a revolution in the United States. People are still saying, I don't believe that. I'm going to investigate this and see what the truth of it is. And I think that's what Mad is saying. Don't buy the con, you know?